Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're looking at Train Simulator 2019, a mixed reviewed game that is on Steam that I think will fit quite fairly into our theme of never going to play it in November, because it's a train simulator game. But there's even a better reason, on top of it being a train simulator and being mixed reviewed and somehow Steam claiming it came out in 2009, even though clearly the name of the game is 2019, unless they just changed the name for over a decade. It has nearly $8,000 worth of DLC. Not DLC I bought for sure. In fact, I'm not really sure why I bought this game at all. And frankly, I may not have. I may have gotten this one free. I usually check, and I forgot to check this time. So this game immediately, like so many games these days, wants you to log into their company Dovetail's website. I'll just say no thank you to that. It is interesting because it has a 64-bit and a 32-bit version of software. In general, if you can run the 64-bit version of software, that means it can use more than 4 gigabytes of RAM in a simulation. Maybe it would do that. This game actually probably could push my graphics card rather high, so I'm leaving it basically at the highest settings, and I don't want to change anything else. And it has a train controls for expert or simple, but also it has under controls a controller controls. So automatic detection of an Xbox 360 controller. I have an Xbox One controller, same difference. So we can do that. Seems like you can get some manuals. Seems like you can even use Google Maps for some of these trains. But I am not 100% sure what kind of game it is. It seems like it's probably a little bit of everything. But this store certainly does look nefarious. It says to start here and drive. I would think you would want to start with the academy and do that and learn. So you can select amongst apparently 2 locomotives. This one seems like it might have a, like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay, apparently clicking that is different than clicking on the picture. So the base game seems, if I was to guess, to let you pick from some different trains, and then the base game seems to let you pick from some different locations: Hamburg to Lübeck, Marseille to Avignon, South Wales coastal, or New Jersey coastline. Try New Jersey coastline, and apparently changing that then limits you to specific things. I guess if you just wanted to quick drive, you'd come over here, and then you could select through the seemingly 8 cars you have, or a custom car, and then you could. A lot of this sure feels like it's mostly just browser based. Times, start times. Let's see, I think that's probably all I want to do. Is let's just start at like 10 in the morning on a clear spring day, going down that path. Standard seems to not be much more different than career. In fact, it seems like there's really nothing here in standard. And free roam again seems to be nothing. And then the workshop, I assume, is Steam Workshop, where you could get more add-ons made by other players. Let's just try this and go. See if we can actually play this. Inherently, when I think about fans that are people that are fans of trains, there is a percentage of that community that is higher than average, that in my mind seem to have some mental disability. Autistic, I guess, would be the right term. And when I think that there are a lot of, particularly the older you get, like if you told me a 4-year-old is obsessed with trains, that's fine, that's normal. If you told me a 13-year-old is obsessed with trains, that person probably in my mind is, I would guess, is autistic. When you combine that thought pattern with the fact that there's nearly about $8,000 worth of DLC, and clearly every single train, every single track, everything that would have taken an animator probably a lot of work to make, to be fair. This is loading quite a lot. If each train skin is selling for $10, as it seemed it was, that's a lot of money compared to a lot of other DLC that often is free. And this is pretty much what I figured this game was going to be, at least in the drive section. So left stick goes forward and backwards in neutral. Right stick controls what you're looking at. Hey, I've suddenly just realized I could probably be a train driver. It's a job that requires a lot of sitting, just like a YouTuber. We've got a green light, so it's going to be a matter of, well, the right stick just, I apparently just put us in emergency mode. Like, the left stick, I think, accelerated, but left bump, right bump. Let's see. A lot of this seems like you're basically just programming in things. It's frankly too many buttons here, considering all you can do is go forward and backwards. Alright, so it was the right stick. And so I have to literally hold the left stick. It is the left stick that seems to be accelerating. And I think that's all this game is you're going to try and maintain the speed that you're supposed to maintain, but I have no idea how fast I'm supposed to go. Apparently in the lower left hand corner it says I'm speeding. Now there's a Japanese train game where it is an arcade racing of trains, and you get the trains to actually end up on 2 different tracks at the same time. I'm going like 82 miles per hour. It's just consistently accelerating. And the right stick doesn't seem like it was doing anything without me, you know, or it has like an incredibly delayed reaction. It's like I think I put on the brake and this was the start here. This is alright. So the left bump seems to move the accelerator. Like well, you can see why this is never gonna play it. The Y button switches you from different perspectives, and I guess that's nice and all. I put on the windshield wiper at some point. This is literally worse than, hey, I can fly around. This is worse than the first time I tried to drive a car. And it seems to have left without me. Question is, geez, how far can you go in this 3D environment? This might explain why things are so expensive when you have entire cities designed that you, like inside this building complex, you're never going to see this. So unless these are asset flips that are sold from other games, which is possible, there's really no reason for this. Or this could be a rather well done Google Maps to 3D translation of an actual city. Of course, I don't know even what city this is. There's no textures on the inside, clearly. There, let's go to the sun. I must go now. My planet needs me. Let's see. So, yeah, eventually you get to the edge of a city and it stops loading anything more. Either that or the city is very, very linear. And I would guess this is supposed to be a lake, but instead it really looks just like blackness until you get really, really close. No splash sound. You get a little bit of reflections there. Alright, let's see. Controller layout. That would have been helpful. Decrease throttle, decrease brake, increase throttle. So left trigger means increase your throttle, left bump means decrease the throttle. Gear down with the D-pad down, gear up with the D-pad up, wiper with the D-pad to the left, 2D map with the back button, honk the horn with the left stick, pan the camera, activate crosshair action. Of course, this is too little too late. There's clearly was supposed to be a whole journey that we were gonna take. That's quite the journey, and we couldn't even get this far into it. Alright, restart. Am I sure I want to restart? Oh, my progress will be lost. Let's see how long it takes to load to restart. Seems like it's gonna be a long time. Unfortunately, at least in the United States, it doesn't pay well. You don't get enough training, from what I've heard, driving a... There we go. Driving a... Okay, so I have the throttle at the top, but then there's something else you have to do to apply your functions, like your commands, because throttle is at the top, I'm at forward, and then one of the face buttons has to go. It's not X, it's not A, it's not Y, it's not B, it's not start, it's control layout. C. Hold A for action menu. Unless I'm supposed to change the brake type. Hold A for action menu. That didn't do anything really. Headlights, horn, engine, toggle screen, couple. So yeah, there's apparently a whole bunch of things you can change for action menu. It doesn't. And you can change your menu. But I guess I was sitting on the brake and I had to hold the right bump down to release the brake. Well, I'll be darned if I'm not going to crash at least one train in this attempt. So, let's do this. You can only go up to 100% on the accelerator. This really is just like an awful way to play a train game. Now there is one train game on Steam that has caught my eye because it's not really about driving real trains or anything like that. It is basically playing with wooden trains that you would play with as a little kid, and I could see maybe that being interesting to parents that didn't want to buy a bunch of wooden train toys, or somebody who's still big into that. But I assume it would be a lot simpler than what I'm running into. We're about to break 100. I imagine what will happen is we'll run into a curve and we'll probably derail the whole thing. We're at 120. Feels kind of like the train is getting a little bit wobbly. Let's get in a better perspective. You're really not changing the I guess the train. Wow, that is really chugging along with my graphics card. I guess you're really not changing too much here. I'm on like the side of the train, which seems weird. Yeah, you're not changing the tracks or anything. And so you can be on the other side of the train and watch the graphics just leave me behind. And this is from the perspective of a passenger. And this is from a top-down view. This is from a side view. Yeah, but the graphics are chugging along unless you have this view enabled. Everything else just can't animate at the highest level of quality, at least not from my graphics card. We're now moving at 260 miles per hour, which I think we probably have derailed by now, even on the smallest of curve. This just does not strike me as something that you would be able to pull off. If anything, I think the game is just going to crash before the game crashes, before the train crashes. Let's push it to 250, I guess, and then call it. Because I'm half thinking now that the game just literally won't let you crash any of the trains. Now that has been a problem with racing games over the decades. Many car companies that will license their cars to racing games won't allow the cars to then take significant amounts of damage or any damage whatsoever, because they want their product shown in the best possible light. And clearly having a car in a racing game flip over and explode into a ball of fire is not something that Ford or Mazda or Porsche or or Bugatti, any of them really want their cars to be shown as. But I would think for train simulator, you're probably not really licensing any trains. We're now approaching 275, and I said we were going to stop at 250. So either this track just does not have enough curves, or I have a fundamental misunderstanding about how fast a train can move and still stay on the track. Because I would have thought approaching 300 either miles or kilometers per hour, I guess that would be a big difference. I almost assume it's kilometers, which would, I guess, make it faster. Seems like I guess the next question too would be, how long is this drive even going max speed? Is this a 20-minute or an hour-long level? Are all the levels 20 minutes? We've now approached 300 miles per hour. When I get to the end of the track, does something happen, or do I just run off the edge of the track or crash that way? I'm having a real hard time thinking why somebody would enjoy this too. Like, I haven't touched a controller in probably 5 minutes. I'm not doing anything. My controller just vibrated a little bit, so maybe that's an indicator that we're going too fast, but it's been telling us we've been speeding since we were going 75 miles per hour. So it looks like we're getting it looks like finally at 311 miles per hour in a curve we started to get some wobble, but then it corrected itself. Is this track circular, by the way? There we go. I'm not 100% sure. I don't believe that this isn't just a circular track and we went in circle. Let's see. Train derailment due to consistent tilt. Game over error. Okay. So that's a quick drive. If we come back to this, let's see what the profile is. Profile tells me friends online, latest achievements, career status, unique scenarios failed, unique scenarios completed, sorting all A through Z. What's my progress there? Apparently I don't have any locomotives unlocked, or it's just taking an incredible amount of time to load it. But if it was taking time to load it, it would show it here. I have 4 routes, and then just a bunch of marketplace things that I imagine they're trying to sell. This is weird because this to me tells me that there probably is no fan support for this game, and that this is the only two things on the marketplace, which that would be rather pathetic. They want me to now do the tutorials. No duh. Like, why did they not want me to start there in the first place? This is just way too much text though. This really doesn't make me want to play the game, and it still seems like there's a lot of missing content here. Apparently you need to run each of these tutorials to figure out primary and secondary controls, and then driving, and then objectives, and then safety, then signaling. There's seems like about 30 levels in this point, and everything is really difficult, really easy, except for applied advanced brake systems. What does build let us do? Academy. Apparently we can do some kind of editing in the game, but doesn't seem like much. Seems like maybe we could say clone Hamburg to Germany, and that should be a very quick copy and paste job for my computer in particular, since it's an SSD. So there's literally no reason why it should still be at 5%. No, I was not expecting much. Wow. From this game. It really was a game that I knew I was going to probably never play, but even at that, I found it pretty bad. So apparently you can publish these and put them on the Steam Workshop, and that's what they want you to do. So if you make a new scenario though, you have to, I guess, create it, give it a name, and then what do? Like, it doesn't seem like there's much options. Apparently you don't do anything because the entire menu just disappears on you. See, I have no idea what it's even trying to do right now. Is it trying to load some web page on some server that's since been shut down? Well, let me not underemphasize this. Around $8,000 in DLC. Probably one, if not the most expensive games to buy in its totality on Steam. I could imagine that there are some software packages you can get for video editing and such. Now, I don't know why you'd buy professional level video editing or photo editing through Steam, but maybe some weird corporate reason for doing that, versus just buying it directly from the creator of that whatever software you're using. But as for actual games, it's probably the most expensive, and in no way does this introductory part justify this. I cross my fingers and hope that I got this game for free. I hope I didn't pay for this. However, I do buy Humble Bundles every now and then, and I wouldn't be surprised if this was just included with some other games. And that is the problem with buying Humble Bundles, is that while you can, if you make sure, give all the sales proceeds to a charity, generally speaking, if you don't check, only 20 to 30% of the sales actually goes to the charity. You can buy bundles of games and you'll get one or two that you really don't care about, and you'll get another two that you do care about. And generally speaking, if you buy the middle tier and not the highest tier of options, you'll get at least one game for at least 50% off of what it would cost normally, which is about as good as you'd get at any Steam summer sale. And there, of course, are other places where you could get Steam keys that range wildly in how much you trust them, as far as their quality and their trustworthiness and where they're getting those Steam keys from. Well, that's going to be the spotlight for this Train Simulator 2019. The game is just kind of stuck here. That's going to be it for this recording. I end all my recordings the same way. I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos, because that helps me with YouTube and tells them that my videos are worth watching. When you subscribe, click the notification bell. If you want a friend or follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, Facebook, battle.net. All of those links are down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's two ways. You can friend me on Steam and gift a game. Gift me a game you'd like to see me cover, or a game off my wish list, or just give me a gift card. Or you can support me directly through Patreon. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.